What is good, my people? We are live back with another live show on the forecast, and I'm back with my brother Bakari. I usually try to wait to see if I get a notification before I start talking, but I didn't even get one for myself. So, um, it's all good. But people hear this anyway. So, what's going on, my brother Bakari? Go ahead and introduce yourself. If more people come on, you know what I'm saying.
And
They'll.
peace, man. Thanks for having me on, my brother.
Mhm.
And peace to people in the chat. You know what? I didn't get my notification either, my man.
Right, I know. I usually wait till I see the notification to start talking, but I notice YouTube do that. They unsubscribe a lot of people and all that kind of stuff. So, but
Yeah.
they'll see it though.
So this is on the Forecast Radio 24.
Nah, the forecast radio, the big channel jump.
Yeah, you know what? It won't even let me pull that channel up. Let me see. Okay. It finally came through. Because I was trying to see if it had us live on here. Okay, we live on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I thank you for having me. Peace to everybody in the chat. This your boy once again rocking with my good brother, my little brother, the forecast. I'm glad to be here. I know this is going to be a awesome program, an awesome show.
Or definitely, my brother, definitely, yeah. And I appreciate everything you've been saying. That if y'all don't listen to my brother Bakari channel, make sure y'all subscribe to that. Of course, we got to spread love to each other, because of course YouTube is gonna hate, and that's the main reason I don't put like the main videos on this. And just to let y'all know, subscribe to the backup channel because another video I'm working on that right now, and hopefully have a live premiere tomorrow because I don't know if they'll take it off or whatever. So make sure y'all subscribe to the backup channel and so y'all can see the video because there's a lot of stuff in there that we need to talk about too. But you know, on your channel too, you've been having a lot of good discussions, and especially with us as Black people. And you know, right now we're in a position where we are really suffering from an identity crisis. And it's a lot of stuff that we don't really want to face up to. It's a lot of stuff that we don't want to deal with, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't understand who our enemy is. We don't understand what we are really dealing with, and how psychopaths not only have to level the playing field so it's to their advantage, they still have to cheat to even have a chance to beat you. But when you understand that and are at terms with yourself, then your enemy can't do anything to stop you. But you know, anything you want to say, my brother Bakari?
You know, when we said when you said we don't know who how our enemies are. Have have you ever heard of Dr. Julia Hare?
Julie
That's one
Hay,
of the things
that
she
name.
said. You know, that's one of the things she said. Black people, I'm gonna look for it and see if I can find it. So we the only people on earth that don't think we have enemies. We think everybody's our friend. But in all honesty, she was slightly wrong. And let me tell you what I mean when I say she was slightly wrong, and I love her. We think we're our enemy. We don't think everybody is our friend because we don't think we're friends with one another. That's why we have so much beef. And I'm saying we, of course, not me and you, of course, not the people, that's watching your show that come to our channels, right? Of course, not us. But I'm saying a lot of black people, we see ourselves as being the enemy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. We see ourselves as the enemy because we have learned to accept the rules and regulations of somebody else's culture that is not ours. And in fact, it's a culture designed to destroy our own culture. And we're trying to be a part of that. And you can only bring out the self-hate that you have trying to assimilate, some I think I forget which person said it, but they said assimilating into a sick society. You're assimilating into a psychopathic society, and then wondering why you got self hate when you're trying to assimilate into something that was built off the hatred of you. And the thing, a lot of us don't want to. Fans, what's going on, Erica? What's going on, Wig? I appreciate y'all for coming through. But one of the things we don't want to accept, because we really think that is some kind of loophole, is some kind of way that we can wiggle out of this, where we can maybe be on even common ground and reason with somebody who cannot be reasoned with because it's a mental illness. And we got to stop tricking ourselves thinking it's something that is not. But we try to find any kind of way to wiggle out of fighting the system like it has to be fought, right? We try to say, okay, I'm not black, I'm this, I'm that, because black is whatever. But when you do that, you still accepting a European standard. Now, before I bring up anything, you got something to say, my brother?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So, pretty much, and I was looking at, we have this idea that we can just say we're sovereign citizens. We can say we're this, we're that. It's not about the word you call yourself. It's literally not about what you call yourself, right? It's how your enemy sees you. They see you as an enemy. It's a reason why they put you in that position. And by the fact, it's a reason why they had to kidnap you in the first place, right? Because you are not like them, right? But you are trying to fit in with somebody. So even if we all agreed on one thing, the only thing that will ever change is when we start to stand up. Now, I don't know if y'all seen the video when two sisters in Walmart got arrested by the cop. He was beating up a pregnant woman because they have no feelings. They don't care. They don't see you as a human. And you can't really say that, because they wouldn't do that to a pregnant dog, but they would do that to you. And that should tell you all that you need to know. But the problem is, it was one brother right there standing up saying, take your badge off, right? Fight me like a man, do what you got to do like a man. And there was nobody else backing him up. There was nobody else, right? And they was able to beat up this pregnant woman, violate all kind of stuff. But we think that her calling herself some kind of thing would have made her exempt from that. But they didn't walk up and ask her any kind of questions. They saw her arguing with the white woman, let the white woman walk off, and they slung this black woman all across Walmart. And only one black man was standing right there, right? So, you got anything to say, Brother Bakari?
You know what? Yeah, I saw that, and in this topic fits identity crisis because because one thing I hear my good brother Elder Marcus Garvey always too for, right? That's one of the things he talk about. How do we identify ourselves? What do we want to be known as? And we don't want to be known as what we are. We don't want to be known as African. African is bad. Being black is bad. We want to associate and identify with the people or with anybody that has ever oppressed us and did us wrong. We want to be those people instead of being ourselves, thinking that if we associate ourselves with them, things will get better because we are all of a sudden extra loyal to something in this country. They have no problem with treating us bad. They have no problem with humiliating you. And they will not stop doing it until we say we are going to stop it. And we have been talking about it for a very long time. We have to organize, we have to unite, then organize, and then strategize to make things better for ourselves in this country. We're at war. A lot of people don't want to admit that this country is at war with us, right? So with this country being at war with us, we have to figure out a way to fight back. And that's what I have to say about it. We have to okay, before I finish, right? Because I'm going to do a show about this, and me and you already talked about it. It's two things that we're going to do a show on. One called A Neutral Ground, And the other one we were talking about that I posted on my Facebook about how when Donald Trump called the COVID-19 virus, when he called it the Wuhan flu, when he called it the China virus, when he called it the Kung Fu flu, everyone here screamed is racist, 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 racist. Now, there's a virus that has just come here. A man brought it here from Nigeria. And when you look it up, it's come from rodents. That's how we get it. You can be scratched by a rodent or a small animal that you may eat. You can get the virus. But a black man bring it here, and it's called smallpox. Means it's called monkeypox. When I mention how racist that is, the one person that it really bothered for me saying something about it was a black person and my brother's stepdaughter. So I had to let her know how I felt. See, we can put up with them doing anything to us, but we don't want to put up with it doing it to someone else because we think that we're going to ally with these people and these people care about us. Newsflash, according to Dr. Amos Wilson, if these people ever get in charge, they're going to treat you just like the people in charge now treat you because they know we're not going to do anything about it. I hear the mic.
Right, exactly. They know they aren't doing anything about it. And like you mentioned about Donald Trump, and I'm not even mad at them because they're doing what they supposed to do. They are a group trying to maintain supremacy, meaning control the power around the land. A lot of black people don't want to say white supremacy, but the fact is you are obeying by their laws. We are fighting each other for pieces of paper for people that would have killed us, right? And the problem is we think that it's not that bad. We've made a lot of improvements. We've made a lot of strides, but we don't see like how sick it really is. We talked about, the young brother that got shot by the Asian dude and they let him go on $10,000 bail. It was another white dude that pointed a gun at a black family as they rolled down the street, right? Another white supremacist shot into the house. Well, yeah, he shot at a family, shot a 9-year-old, his mom, and this aunt, and they gave him $2,000, $200,000 bond, and charged him with assault, not even attempted murder, and he shot a 9-year-old. Now the whole point is, right, until people start getting on a different mindset. Now I don't know if y'all heard about the cop who was at a wedding, he was calling people nigga. What's going on, brother guy? Oh, and the call-in number, by the way, anybody want to call in, 804-601-4015. But there was a cop going around saying nigga, 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 because we think it's black. If they call you black, they ain't calling you black, they calling you nigga, and they're treating you like that because to them, you're not even an animal. You're a savage. You're a tool that's supposed to work for them. So why are you trying to fit into them and their mindset, right? But until we get on the same mindset of this brother who knocked out a off-duty cop for calling him a nigga, right? But we're too scared to do all of that stuff. We try to fight them with their own legal system that has never once worked for us. We try to reason with them, and they've never kept any of they've never kept their word on anything. So we have to start coming with that mindset of responding with more urgency than your enemy responds with to maintain control over you. But yeah, you go ahead, my brother.
Hey, keep talking. Give me a couple of more minutes. I'm gonna let you know when I'm right back.
All right. And yeah, brother guy, yeah, you can come in, or you can come in, or any of y'all can come in or call 804-601-4015. Now, this really comes from a sick mentality, and this is something that we got to start addressing. This fear that we have in our community, right? This fear that we have of the European. We think it means some kind of annihilation. But let me tell you something. There is nothing on this planet that they have not done to you. Things you can't even imagine, they have already done to you. They have taken everything away from you. There is nothing that you have to lose. So why would you even try to reason with them or go on their court system when they don't stick to their words in the first place? That's a psychopath that you're dealing with, and we need to stop mystifying or deifying or whatever we're doing, right? See, the difference is they are not afraid to die for what they believe in, and they believe in maintaining control over you. And we always say, oh, well, we got to look for something to be unified on. You can't tell me one person who don't want their children to be protected. I mean, what more does it take than knowing that they can just shoot into a crowd of children and be able to walk away? And we think that going to them for justice or any kind of thing means something. But at the end of the day, still trying to live up to something that was not designed for you is always going to make this internal sickness, this internal self-hate that you got in your spirit, in your mind. See, when they can violate a pregnant woman, when they can shoot a kid and get away with it and nothing happens to them, everybody looks at that. People, nature, whatever takes advantage of the weak, and not responding to violence is flat out weakness. Allowing somebody to violate your boundaries is a weakness. And anybody who violates your boundaries is going to continue to do it and push it further and further and further. And guess what? They know if they can hurt your children, they can do anything in the world to you. And on Brother Bakari show the other day, the woman was on the news. Her son got beat with a belt by some white dude. See, they have no problem coming into your house because they know there's nothing that's going to happen to you. But you don't see America going to North Korea or let North Korea punish American citizens. But here we are going to somebody who don't even see you as a person, right? When you ask any white politician, whatever, if they're supposed to be on your side, is America racist? They're going to tap dance all around it. And then you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to say, it's based off, even the most liberal, it's based off racial policies. But when you say that, you're attacking a group of people. But you mean to tell me if I say I'm attacking racism and a group of people feel offended, that they're not the racist people that need to be attacked? I need to apologize and watch what I say to them? But see, when you start apologizing for saying, I don't want my children to be hurt, I don't want my mom dying from diabetes at a young age, I don't want to be in
I'm back
financial
whenever
ruin.
you're ready to pass the mic. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you
Oh
off. I
yeah, you
apologize.
good. You good, my brother. You can go ahead, my brother.
I'm gonna tell you something. I was listening, right?
Hey, yeah, hold on.
Okay.
All right. To accept, press 1. To send a voice. Hello.
Hey, what's up? It's Guy in Hollywood.
What's going on, brother Guy? You can hear him, Bakar?
Yeah, I can hear him.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm glad, just glad that y'all too talking about this issue, man. Shout out to Brother Bakari, man. Shout out to you, podcast. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the chat. And I just want to get my 2 cents on this subject because it's very important. I think it just maybe, and this is my theory, right? I think the reason why we're going through identity crisis because the reason why, number one, we're going through identity crisis, and secondly, why things are happening to us and we're not really fighting back is because it derives from when we was kidnapped, right? the first thing that the enemy did was take away our names, right? They already, and your name, it was part of your identity. Your name meant something, right? So they replaced it with their names. Then they took away your belief system, right? They took away your deity and replaced it with theirs. So now you have where we was once a nation of people, right? Even though we was like, most of it was tribal, but we were still a nation. We represent a country, right? But since now that we was kidnapped, they broke us up. They really broke us up. So now what we have where you have a lot of black people today, they're identified with, I'm an Asiatic, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not gonna mess with you because you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, and they identify what the Europeans had gave, right? And even when you got some of us now that's coming back home and saying, no, we African people, we're Pan-African because we are Africans of abroad, then you have all these groups of people with this slave-minded mentality, and they go up against people like me, you, Brother Bakari, you know what I'm saying? And they were saying they trying to make it seem that Pan-African is a religion. And it's not a religion. Some of us are reclaiming who we are. And you have another force out there. You got black people so indoctrinated and so marinated with the European garbage. Now we are fighting it's a civil war. We fighting two wars: the enemy and ourselves. So the enemy sees this. They know that we're not unified. And if I see, just say for example, if I see something happens to you, and if you're not a Muslim like me, or if you're not a Hebrew Israelite like me, guess what? I'm not going to help you. I'm saying I'm not going to help you. You on your own. And then before, when we was all together. If something happens to you, no, I'm gonna come help you. So what happened was, like I said, I think some of our people, even during when we was kidnapped, a lot of black people helped the Europeans because a lot of them, thought a lot of them was like they thought white people were gods at the time. They saw these big ships and they was like, wow. A lot of them got fooled, they got tricked, you see what I'm saying, and got into it, and they fell into the whole kidnapping process, right? If I give you some trinkets, if you kidnap me, kidnap your people. So this is what we're seeing now. And even to this day, when you look at our leaders been killed and murdered by other black people, is because a lot of them are still into that I'm going to serve the white man type of no matter what. And a lot of races, they see that and they feed off that. So I think that's the reason why all of this comes from, it's a slave culture that some of our people still follow. And like I said, this is my theory. The reason why there's identity crisis, and that's the reason why we're not nationalized as a people. You got a lot of people that just hate Africa for no reason, and most of them didn't even go into the covenant, go into the continent, and go into these countries to see what it's all about. They already have their assumption of what the white media is feeding them. So I think the reason why there's an identity crisis, because people fall into slave culture, and a lot of like the yellow man and white man, they feed off that, and that's so they could do whatever they want, because a lot of black people, they're so divided. Somebody looks and looking like, or she's not a Muslim. I'm out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what we see today. Is we just see a lot of division in our people, where they'll see themselves getting harmed, and they won't do anything about it, because because they label, they got that European label on them. You know what I mean? So that's just my theory. That's just my theory of it. And that's all I need to say. I'm just, I just wanted to say, but I wanted to thank y'all for, because this is a good topic, man. This is a good topic, and I thank y'all for having me to speak on this issue.
Well, I appreciate you calling, my brother.
All right, definitely. I'm gonna continue listening to the show, man.
All right, brother guy.
All right, my brother. All right, later.
All right, peace, guy. Peace to everybody in the chat. God, thanks for that call. And when he mentioned the religions, right? Like I'm one of the people that say when we get in this room and we talk about building ourselves up, leave the religion outside of the room. Leave your personal belief outside of the room. See, you have your personal belief, then we need to have group belief in what the group is working toward, right? So then sometimes even my personal beliefs might be can get in the way, right? So I do my best to leave my personal beliefs outside. So we would get caught up in, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so you ain't like me. Okay. I'm a Christian, so we can't be together because all Christians is mine, brothers and sisters. All Muslims, including is my brothers and sisters. Hebrew Israelites, they quick to tell you we're more closely related to white people than we are to an African, right? So the religions get in your way. So it's this guy who's on YouTube, right? I won't say his name because I don't know people name that I really don't deal with and they don't deal with me. But he got a pretty decent sized channel. And he's a Moor, right? He got about 16, 17,000 subscribers, right? He said he know this his land because his parents gave him a indigenous name. His real name is Toronto Johnson. Both of those names are indigenous to this land. How in the hell is Johnson indigenous to this land? Johnson is absolutely a European name. I'm going to tell you right now exactly where it come from. But we will claim that. But we will claim stuff like that as if it makes you better than me. The name Johnson come from England and Scotland. It's an English and Scottish origin. But we will say that's an indigenous name to here to make me feel good so I can say this is my land, right? So, but this is what I tell the people that say this is their land. I don't even have a problem with you saying that. What are you going to do to get it back? Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to take your land back? Well, we're going to beat them in the courtroom. Well, okay, go ahead, go to the courtroom. I ain't going in the courtroom with you. You understand? You can always make them shut up with that because it's time for some examples, right? It's time for us to literally, it's certain things that we are gonna have to do. And if people don't want to be a part of certain things like a black militia, that's part of this country. That's why it's in the Constitution to have a well-armed militia, right? To protect yourself. And to protect yourself, and they create to protect yourself from an oppressive government. They created it so they could protect themselves. So the white people here could protect themselves from their brothers and sisters from England. So then they kept it in the Constitution. Now, if you go back to during Reconstruction, after Reconstruction, you will see that there were a time where black people had militias. That's why I ask people, please read the book whenever you get a chance. We will shoot back. So you can understand some of the things that we have done and understand some of the things that we can do. Yes, it went, but sometimes we have to see ourselves standing up. Those people weren't shame. Our ancestors were not shame of who they are. But it has been passed down to us that we have to be shamed somehow of who we are. Just create something. I'm the Aboriginal indigenous man from the moon. See? And people will follow that. We will follow, what is it called? The New Wapians, I said them, and talking about the brown woollites and the green dominions and the orange dominions and people from the planet Risk, and we are looking for stuff like that. We're looking for anything except willing to look our enemies, not the enemy, our enemies in their eyes and say, this is who we are, and no more make believe, and we're gonna protect our neighborhoods. That's what we have to do first. Protect our neighborhoods from these. I'm gonna yield the mic, man, because I just keep going and it might sound like I'm ranting all over the place. I'll yield the mic.
Oh yeah, you definitely right. And let me say this, yeah, and anybody can call in the number right there on the screen, 804-601-4015. And as a sister, Matilda, I don't know if she's listening now, call in. She been telling me about this brother trying to build something on something too. So, I hope the sister call in. But we gotta start supporting each other when we get in these situations, right? We can get on these celebrities, right? Especially when they talk black and then they have to go on this apology tour when these other groups do the things that we say that we shouldn't do because we're racist if we say that, right? But let me tell you something. You're not prejudiced because you're not prejudging, right? You're acting on survival, and on Brother Bakari, he said he was, on your show, you was talking about like something with like animals or whatever. But let me tell you this, a bird will attack a pit bull if her babies are in danger. So you mean to tell me that you will let something happen to your children and we can't come on an agreement to put aside whatever beliefs that we have to stop that from happening? Now, everybody should be mad with how, America, the corporation, is running, but we're not about everybody. We're talking about creating our own system to destroy this system. And it has to be destroyed because they will never let you have your own without attacking you. And you have to be prepared for that. But the thing is, we as a people are an emotional people. And that's okay. It's okay for you to have empathy. That's what makes you human, right? Understand, psychopaths don't have no empathy. That's why they can do anything like castrate you or whatever they feel like because they have no empathy. But the thing is learning how to transcend those emotional feelings and using logic and your emotions to your advantage. Of course, you're going to be mad. That's a human emotion, but use that anger to finally do something and stand up and to make it stop. That's the whole point of having anger, right? And you know, at the end of the day, we talk about names and all of this stuff, but we can create whatever we want to create. We can call ourselves whatever we want, create whatever language we want. We just have to start having faith in each other. You know, the reason why they don't want to teach you your history is because they don't want you to know how many things you've actually created, right? That they needed you to create this. And if you understood that, you can create as many civilizations as you wanted over and over and over, but they don't need you to know that. And in this society that you even created, you are still the only one inside of it to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, right? The white middle class was created off of grants. Every other group got grants, got reparations, got whatever. You are the only group inside that group to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. So to not have faith in your own people, that's what they want you to do. That's what they want you to try to reason with them, right? So they can keep you playing this game because, of course, they're going to want to keep you on a string because you are where they get their culture. You are where they get everything they get. Most of their inventions they took from you, but we don't realize that. We think we have to go by their words, their rules, right? And in reality, if you are in nature, there is nothing stopping you from doing what you want to do, right? It's only your fear, and that's how they control you, by your fear. And they need us to have division, like gender wars, where we arguing, talking about black women is so bad, black men ain't this, black women ain't that. They need us to have that because if we start having strong homes, right, and raising our children and we sending them to school to know that, man, this psychopath Christopher Columbus was a rapist and killer. Don't teach me he discovered America. right? We ain't sending them to a bunch of white women who profit off of this, minority stamp that we always have to be involved in. Because if we say it's black, we have to say it's minority. And every other minority is going to jump all over that. But if you ask every other minority to stand up for you, it's crickets, right? We have to stand up for Stop Asian Hate. But if Peter Liang shoot a black woman or shoot a black person, or something like what Tasha Harling happened, right? You're not gonna hear anything. You're gonna hear free that person. But you're supposed to stand up for somebody else. And they know that as long as you keep trying to fit in and you're not willing to do whatever you have to do to sacrifice that, and you're not gonna get that until you start coming together, going the extra mile to rebuild our families, right? Because it starts with a strong family. That's the only way you're going to have a strong community. That's the only way you can have a strong nation. And you're only going to be protected if you have a nation or an army to protect you, because your enemy is never going to protect you. They kidnapped you and took everything from you. Why would they protect you now? But yeah, I'll pass the mic. Go ahead, brother Bakari.
It's not their job to protect us, right? And the thing about it, right? And they show this stuff to us right in our face, right? I'm gonna go back to the so-called monkeypox again, right? They have the mutation of the COVID-19 that came to this country, right? From India, and they call it the Delta variant. You can't even say where it come from. China, they had this COVID-19. Once again, back to something come from Africa, you can call it the monkeypox. And if we can't look and understand what they are putting in our face and what they are telling us and what they are calling us, something is wrong with us, right? So now it had come to the point where you said we have to build our families. You're absolutely correct. We have to start working on our family structure again. Because they say an old African proverb, right? It take a village to raise a child, right? But in that village have to consist, it need to consist of families, right? It need to consist of families. Our women, our single mothers have to be okay with the brothers, with the men in the neighborhood checking her son, putting him in place, teaching him respect. They have to be willing to let us do that mentoring, right? In black men, we should want to do that mentoring for our young black men that's coming after us. I was listening to my good elder brother today, Marcus Garvey, too. And we were talking, and he got to the point talking about us being replaced. So I put in the chat, they are doing the same thing here that they did in South America a long time ago. Remember, if you study South America, they had something called bettering the race. Have you ever heard of that forecast? Anyone in the chat ever heard of bettering the race that went on in the South American countries?
Yeah, that's what's going on right now in America right now.
They are doing it right now in the United States, right? They're not saying they're bettering the race. The word's not coming out of their mouth. They're just showing you. And they have us, and they have us following right in line. We're killing ourselves off. But man, I believe we're gonna be killed ourselves more than the KKK ever did, I believe, right? I'm talking about here on this land, not everything that happened during the transatlantic slave trade. But we're killing ourselves off and we're breeding ourselves out. Because if you and we're bettering our race because we're also teaching our youth that is better. We're also trying to act like being a gangbanger, bragging on murdering. I'm not gonna just say a gangbanger because it was brother guy did a show last night and it was a good show. It was funny, and it was this guy on there. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't, like I said, I don't say people name. But he started and all he started talking about how Africa Bambaataa, I say his name, had molested him. He have all these subscribers and all these followers and making all this money. He's not going to do anything, and he can sit and brag on when he went to prison when he was 17 years old. He bragged on murder. He brags on that, but he can get people to follow him. Our people will follow him. Our people will donate to him. Now, I do believe people like that sometimes other races of people donating to them too, but I'm just talking about our people. We would rather have that than have someone out here in the streets or out here showing you exactly what they're doing. That don't mean anything to our people if you're not bringing some type of entertainment or comedic value to it, or you're bringing drama, preferably drama. Our people is absolutely okay with it. Putting down other black people on a consistent basis. Our people is drawn to it, and we'll follow that, and we'll all of a sudden act like those people are some type of leaders in our neighborhoods. Act like these people is trying to turn our neighborhoods into communities. But we should absolutely be teaching our youth to stay away from people like that, always making threats, talking about shooting. And he's not the only one. It was a lot of our people. As long as we can talk negative about each other, we're okay. But when that beast come look you in your face, you drop your head and, well, you know what? We're gonna march, we're gonna pray, we're gonna chant, no justice, no peace. We are gonna do all that. When they killed the brother here, Rayshard Brooks, I was down there, me and my son, when they burned the Wendy's. I had my sidearm with me. On my side, I take it. It was loaded, one in the hole, and I had 2 extra clips. If my son was in here with me, now he'll tell, because I don't record stuff like this. I'm just talking about it, right? Somebody told me I should have, and maybe I should have. So when I was down there and I'm talking to the police, and I tell the police, the best music I ever heard in my life is when I hear the sounds of a bagpipe. Everybody standing around looking, they didn't know what I was talking about, but the police did. They looked and frowned at one white woman and white man. They first turned red. So my son and the other people that were standing around said, "Dad, what does that mean?" I said, "Oh," and I said a lot. I said, "Oh, you ever seen a cop funeral? They're always playing bagpipes. So we need more cop funerals." That's what I said to the cops. That's what I said in the city council meeting, the county council meeting. Then those are the things but when you do stuff like that, you don't get the following. See, they talked about what happened with Rayshard Brooks. You remember that, right, Forecast, when they killed a brother at the Wendy's in Atlanta?
Yeah, in the drive-through.
Yes. Okay. Did they tell you, know that happened by maybe a couple of weeks before Juneteenth? This is something they didn't talk about all over the news, and a lot of people on YouTube didn't talk about it. Did they tell you during the Juneteenth celebration at that Wendy's, black people started popping fireworks because it's less than a quarter of a mile from the interstate? Black people started popping fireworks, and white people drove by in a car real fast when the fireworks started popping and did a drive-by and hit about 4 black people. Did they tell you that?
No, I ain't hear that.
See, a lot of people don't know that. That didn't make the news. But guess who was down there the very next night? Me and my sister Anuli. I saw, we ran some folks off, where we made them turn their car around. I saw drones. Drones flew over our head and just hovered there for about 5 minutes, then fly away. Was down there and all that was going on. But the very next day, but after that, I went down there, and of course, me and a newly sister knew we went, had I sidearm and my two AR-15s. Because they absolutely did a drive-by, and that didn't make the news. But then later on, we kill someone going by who wanted to get by. And that's what I'm talking about. The stuff they're killing us. We are killing us. That's what I mean by being killed off. We can't wait to go be with a different woman or a different man that's not of us. So in essence, this country is teaching us that they have taught us that we are worthless, and we've accepted it. So now they're going to better the race by getting rid of us, and we're going to teach you to help us get rid of you without saying the words. We just going to show you how it should be done, and we have accepted that. But it's time to make a change. Unite, organize, strategize, and remain disciplined in our approach to liberation. And that's the only way we're going to ever be free. And when someone tell you, well, all black people ain't going to come together, tell them, yes, we are. All the black people that want to come together is the black people that's going to come together. The ones that don't want to come together, we can't worry about them. They are on their own. I yield the mic.
Yeah, yeah, you make a lot of good points there, my brother. And you know, let me tell you something. Like, and you mentioned, you know, better in the race and all of that stuff. Like, you know, they're still pushing the point of, you know, there's this violent gene that black people inherently have, right? And it's crazy that a psychopath is called projection, and that's exactly what they do. They project all of their negative qualities onto you and take all of your positive qualities, and we internalize all of that, and that's a lot of where that identity crisis comes from. And they talk about this violent gene that black people tend to have. Now, we're not the ones that try to genocide like 7, 8 groups of people, right? But that's what they like to use to justify everything that they do, right? That's why, you know, they make the laws that they make to justify why they are able to slaughter you and to do whatever they want to do. Now, until we get out of the mindset where we're blaming each other, and that's again another part of what you're talking about, while black people attack other black people, because we have no protection within our community. Now, a European, somebody else's system, they're going to put them in prison for 20 years or whatever, but we don't have no system put in place for ourselves to punish the people who destroy our communities. But we don't ever back up what we say. We out there the most saying no justice, no peace, but we get the least amount of peace, and we are we get no justice, and we are the most peaceful, right? And you know, I don't know if y'all was paying attention to like what happened in Haiti, where the president got shot in his own bed. Now, we are sitting here debating about whether we need to vote for another president just to get somebody out of office, you know, the lesser of two evils, right? And that is a self-hatred statement in itself, because who votes for a lesser evil, right? But you know, the system, the way war works, they destabilize a government, they let the country destroy itself, and then they go in and they change the policy. Now, Haiti was credited with being the first successful revolt, right? Haiti was supposed to be the first black nation where you are free. And, you know, even though it's not true that they banned all white people, they banned all slave owners when they should have banned all white people, but it's not true that they did. But this same colony, the same place, is has been paying another country reparations for getting their own freedom for hundreds of years, all the way to 2000 or something. Now, that is economic warfare. That's the whole point, to keep you in poverty, to keep you down. The only way somebody else could be superior is to make you inferior. That's the only way they can raise themselves up, by putting you down. And we aren't, as a community, as a nation, they aren't even allowed to sell their own products, right? To ship out their own products. People like the Clintons get to have land on their own places. That is the whole goal, to destabilize anything that is meant to be of value to you. Now, these are war tactics, right? All of these things are designed to make you hate yourself. None of this stuff is by accident. See, we think that is a coincidence. We say, that's just the way life is. That's not the way life is. And I don't understand why more people don't get mad and don't do what they have to do to destroy it. Because first of all, there's no way we should be paying taxes into a system like this, right? A system designed and does not protect you, and go out of the way to show you blatantly that they do not protect you. And we're still out arguing with each other about which presidential candidate we need to elect instead of which organization we need to create to fund Black businesses or to create for protection from ourselves and from others. We're talking about somebody else's system that they don't even include you. When they have their debates, they say America, and then they have a separate question for Black people. What are we going to do? The Negro question that goes all the way back to the beginning of America. What are we going to do with these niggas? And we're trying to say, well, we've accepted the ways of the Englishmen, right? Because back in the early days, for about 20 or 30 years, there was a time where you can say, I'm a Christian and you get freedom. But that in the 1600s, right? There may have been a time in the early 1600s you can say you were a Moor, but we're holding on from the 1600s. The only way you can say that you're free is to say that you're free, and when somebody come and try to take your freedom, you defend it. That's the only way you will ever get freedom. That's the only way you will ever make a change. And really, what do you have to lose? You don't have anything else left to lose, because right now you can go drive in your car and the police can pull you out of your car. They can violate you, violate your children, arrest you right in front of them. They can come in, make up any kind of lies that they want, right? And regular citizens have no problem rolling up, pulling guns on Black families, shooting at Black children. They have no problem doing none of this stuff. And you don't wonder why they have no problem, right? But like my brother said, we can be tough with each other because everybody sees that's a lack of protection. That's a lack of self-protection, right? That everybody in the world knows that Black people are the easiest target. But until we get into a mindset where we love ourselves enough to where we would attack a pit bull or a bear or a lion to protect your children, then you got some. All right, I'm gonna take this call, Brother Bakari. Hello?
How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing? Who is this?
Conspiracy Talk.
Oh, what's going on, bro?
I have a question, sir.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel about the new law that got passed saying that your kid can change sex? And if the parent tried to stop them, the parent would be labeled as bad parents, and basically the parent can.
Would they be punished or something?
They will be labeled as bad parents.
Well, who cares what anybody labels me as? I wouldn't let my kids smoke a cigarette. I wouldn't let my kid drive a car at 12 years old. So why would I let them, castrate themselves at 15 or 14? They can call me whatever you want. We got to stop being afraid of what somebody else calls you, because you are the master of your own reality, and it don't matter what somebody else say. They can say you're bad parents. Now if they trying to arrest you or something for it, then that's something else. But if they just calling you bad parents, it is what it is. Like, I'll be that. As Redman would say.
Look, I'm the law in my house.
Hey, hold on, conspiracy theory. Go ahead, Brother Bakari.
We have to be the law in our house. I'm the law in my house. I don't give a damn what they say. I'm raising my kids. I'm putting a roof over their head, food in their belly, clothes on their back, making sure they get an education, not just the school education. I'm making sure they get a Black History education. Making sure they learn how to take care of themselves, teaching them about business, to helping them with what they want to do in life. So I make the rules. I don't care what they say about me being a bad. I make the rules. And if my child want to follow that, go live with them. That's all I have to say about that.
All right, conspiracy there. Conspiracy talk. My bad. Hello.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh yeah. Go. You can go ahead, my brother.
Okay. I feel like the government is taking power away from the parents. We don't have no power. We cannot even discipline our kids. When I was a child, my uncle and my grandfather chastised me. If they saw me doing wrong, I got chastised. And if you try to chastise a kid now, you can go to jail. We cannot even put our children on the right path without fearing of going to jail.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm speaking of like since colonialism, since they came and stole everything. We've never been in control of our own children. They've been able to take the babies out of women's arms and sell them, and they never see them again. And right now, like I was just saying, if you was in the car with your son, right, a cop could pull you over and strip you butt naked on the side of the road in front of your son. And if you do something back, you're resisting arrest, and they'll shoot you dead and walk away. And there's nothing you can do. So you really don't have the control over your children as it is. But of course, they're going to try to push a agenda on whatever. And I said, because they like to equate the LGBT whatever community, and they try to equate all of that stuff with black hate. But you know what? Most of those slave owners were straight faggots because they was raping men, women, and children. And if you cool with a slave owner that was raping children, little girls, little boys, and you mad I'm calling them a faggot, then you got a problem. And I'm judging you as a bad person. I don't care what you say about me. You a bad parent. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
This been a plan years and years ago, and this is the outcome right now.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to come together, and we need to try to take the control back of our kids and our race. This maybe sound crazy, but I feel like the rap music have a lot to do with it. Everything I see on YouTube is guns, 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 guns. They is promoting violence in the music.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what they're gonna do, but that's the one kind of thing. But of course, they're gonna promote the violence and all of that kind of stuff. That's the marketing. That's the tool of it. And by the way, they're making billions off your own industry. So, but yeah, I appreciate that, my brother. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Brother Bakari.
Okay, you just said something. I'm gonna ask my son the name of that documentary, and I'm gonna find it, right? But they did a documentary. David Banner was in the documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about the music industry, and he said and showed. David Banner, right?
Yeah.
And he sat there and showed the money go like this in the music industry, hip hop industry. White people, Jews, white people, they the same to me. So white folks, Asians, Arabs, East Indians, Hispanics, and at the very bottom is something that we created is black people. Make less money from hip hop than any other race. Something that we created. And we hold on to certain things, right? I'm not saying there shouldn't be any hip hop music, right? I'm not going to even say there shouldn't be any violent hip hop music. But I think it should be just as much, or if not more, positive music like Ciroc, like J. Cole, like Big Crit. In them last two, I use Kendrick Lamar, right? They'll use the N-word, but listen to their music and listen to what they're talking about, right? They're not the only ones. Those are the ones, Nairobi Sila. They're not the only ones. There's a lot of them out here, right? That's doing positive music. Even in some of them using it, but they should, and we should be demanding that the radio stations or whatever we listening to promote them, right? Gucci Mane became even more famous because he did 4 years in prison and lost some weight and got in shape while he was in there. Think about that. Think about that. But I did a show one time about, and I know Guy remember this, Guy and Eric, I did a show about support our youth. And it was a show, I had my son, and his friends. It was about 15 of them. Let's support the nerds, the ones that's going to college. Whether they're going to college for being an attorney or a doctor or an accountant or a school teacher, or if they're going to trade school to learn to weld, to be a carpenter, to brick mason. Let's support them and give them the same type of love as we give people that's in prison. Let's celebrate them, right? I remember a guy said one time, watch and see how if somebody go do 5 years in prison, watch how big the party is. People throw for him when he come home. Our kids graduate from college, don't have the same type of party from the neighborhood, right? We'll listen to rappers say, well, this is all I see this is what I see in my neighborhood. No, you see more than drug dealing. You see more than drive-bys. You see people going to college. They're just not celebrated, right? So I did it was about 10 to 15 kids, young men. They're not kids anymore. They're young men. They just graduated out of young men. The lowest GPA out of the crew was 3.3. That's it. That was the lowest GPA. So you know how when our people go to prison, we'll make sure they got money on their books. We writing them letters, making sure they can have snacks, making sure they can have toiletries, I guess. I suggested, and a couple people who know on my show have said they agree, and we talked about it. Let's create a program. Let's create a plan. In our cities where we are, states where we are, let's start and find the black kids that's going to college, right? And let's have something set up for them. Because a lot of time, our kids drop out of school because they don't have no money. They don't have nothing. They can't afford school. Don't have snacks. Don't have nothing. So let's set up something where we can put them $20 to $40 on their books. Might not be much, but especially their freshman and sophomore year, and they grinding so hard to making sure they got the college life down and their school life down. Make sure they have that balance. Let's create something where we can put some on their books. Let's begin to celebrate them. Let's start showing our youth that we are as proud of you, or more proud of you, for going to college, getting your education, regardless of what you went for. You may have gone to college, you may have gone to truck driving school, because that's what you want to do. That's in your heart. Let's support him while he's doing truck driving. Let's support him while they're going to school to be a doctor. Let's support them while they're going to school in business. They want to be a school teacher. They want to be an accountant. Anything. Let's support them. Let's support some of our young people when they are starting businesses at a young age, 20, 21 years old. They'll start landscaping. Let's support them. I'm not saying that we don't care about people that's been to prison, because I understand that circumstances create circumstances. I'm not saying let's just let them fall by the wayside, because they can change their life as well, given the opportunity. But what I am saying is, let's start seeing our youth that's going the other way while they're young. Let's start seeing them in a light where we can glorify them and hold them up. That's part of the identity crisis too. We only identify with the negative of our society. And then when you see a white, oh, he act black. You see anybody that's not black, he act black if he's acting stupid. But when our kids going to schools getting straight A's, he's acting white because he or she is acting white because he want to be smart. Or if they're speaking so-called proper English, or he's trying to be white, you understand? I know you heard that before, right? So have you ever heard that before, Forecast?
Yeah, I heard that.
And have you ever heard that when somebody else that's not black is acting a donkey while he hanging around black people, all of a sudden he's acting black? You see why our mindset is? Our identity crisis, if we doing something positive and good and fixing things, we identify our youth with white people or Asian people if they are straight A students, if they're the valedictorian of their class, if they're doing good, we equate them to something other than being of African descent. When our ancestors were the first scientists, we were the first doctors. They still using tools in their operating room today that was invented back in ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet. They're still using them today. But today, if we are smart, we're acting like other people. No, we're acting like ourselves when we're straight A students, and we have to continue. We have to start to support them. I yield the mic.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta start supporting each other, and it's like I say all the time. Black unity is the Black Messiah. It's everybody playing their own role. We need the farmers, we need the teachers, we need the doctors, we need the builders, we need the engineers, we need all of this stuff put together, working together. And it's not one person. But that's why it's important that we start defining Black culture, right? Defining what culture is, defining our own culture, right? Because they not only say, culture, our culture is just sports and music, right? And even in that, I just found out, I don't know if y'all heard about what's going on with Scottie Pippen, and he called Phil Jackson a racist, and he said a whole lot of racist stuff. He talking about Allen Iverson, talking about them listening to rap music and dressing how they want to dress when they was changing the dress code in the NBA. Now, do you know Tony Kukoc actually got paid more than Michael Jordan when he first got to the league, just because he was a prime European player. Now, if that doesn't make people want to stop playing a sport where you're the most dominant in, and if you created your own, it'll be the best league. You had the Negro League, and it was way better than the regular league. That's why they try to take yours and incorporate it. But see, us as a community, and it was like you were saying, you could listen to certain brothers, you can listen to certain people. You don't have to listen to what they tell you to listen to. You can listen to positive rap. You can listen to rap that don't have nigga in it. You can listen to rap that don't have cursing in it. It's what you choose to do. Now they're going to put in the most negative stuff for you to see. But it was like I was saying on your show the other day. They try to limit culture to sports and music, but culture is something that is supposed to protect you. It's something you're supposed to create, that is supposed to feed you, that's supposed to protect you from outsiders, that's supposed to keep you safe, right? It's supposed to help you raise your children in the most secure environment where they'll be able to thrive. That's what a culture is. And we're limited our culture to music and sports. And even in that, we're the most dominant in whatever we do. Right. But that's why they need you to be arguing about what your identity is in the first place, instead of us coming together saying we need to create our own identity. We need to create our own culture and start drawing the lines with some of these things and some of these topics, like, the whole interracial dating topic, right? We need to start drawing the lines because it is a touchy subject. It is murky waters. And a lot of times, a mixed person, they may be pro-black on one side, but they don't want to see what happens to their parents on the other side. But I can tell you, because you was talking about you act black. I just seen some online where the dude Sean King, the white boy, was saying, "Oh, you're one of the." His friends was telling well, this was the story. He said his friends was telling him he acts the blackest. He acts more black than anyone they know. Now I don't know what black person would tell him.
Repeat that again. Repeat that again about Sean King.
He said I seen a video where he said his friends told him he's one of the most blackest people they know. Now I don't know, what black people would say that, but at the end of the day, the most quote unquote liberal white person does not want to see the system destroyed. Now they talk about gun violence and shooting, but that's one symptom of the system. But they don't want this entire system designed to protect them destroyed. And you trying to look for allies, especially when you don't have enough self-love to know when somebody is going to violate you, especially knowing who you can trust and not trust, right? Until you can get to that point where you have enough self-love to not, beg for acceptance from somebody else, then you're going to have to start working on yourself, doing for yourself, starting from the basics. We all have to start from scratch and build on our own, build what we build and combine it. Do you know what being on code is? It's every time you see those crazy white women, those white girls wilding out in the store, you're going to see a black person stepping up. All right, take this next call.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello?
Greetings, brother Showcase. It's Pelage. How are you, sir?
What's going on, my brother?
No, not much. And you have a co-host, I guess, is it Brother Bakari?
Yeah, Bakari.
Yeah, can you hear me or no?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, my brother. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, man. I'm doing very well, and listen, whenever I can get a chance to call in when I'm free, I always try to call in and give my 3 cents. So, yes, identity crisis. I thought that's the topic. Obviously, brother Focus, I don't know if you forgot. I'm from Haiti originally. I've been living in the U.S. for a long, long time, and obviously, I was thinking about this. When the going gets tough, when we forced to be unified, is going to happen. Because right now, we do suffer from identity crisis. We are confused. I don't know. We love our oppressors way too much, and that was including myself. Again, for me, I have a different mindset. I love my people. I want to see my people liberated. I don't care if I was a billionaire. If one of my brothers and sisters, is hungry or get mistreated, what good is it to be a billionaire? We are the most accepting, loving people on the planet. Okay, let's face it. And
I heard, I caught the wind of Brother Bakari, what you were saying about, Dr. You didn't say his name, but I will say his name, Imhotep, is a genius, okay? And if you ask the Europeans, people who go to college, even if you ask doctors here, say, hey, who's the first doctor? They'll probably say, well, it's probably some guy in Europe, So, but and then Brother Forecast, when you were talking about Tony Kukoc, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to Google that and see. So he was looking more than Jordan.
Yeah, in 1994, he made more money than Michael Jordan. That's after the three-peat. You know what I'm saying?
That is crazy.
Huh?
That's insane, bro. That is insane. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something, Brother Focus. The end is near for America. And listen, I don't hate anybody, and I was feeling it, an associate of mine. I got lectured, like an associate of mine who happened to be white. And I told him, we are sleeping giants. I said, you do know this country is going to fall, right? And I said, can you imagine if those guys could stop playing football and from the major league? I said, it would cause a global catastrophe. He said, well, they won't do it. I said, well, you're probably right. I say, once enough of the family members are getting murdered, it's going to happen. And and you look at the Olympic Games, you look at how charismatic Sha'Carri Richardson is, 21 years old. And if I were her and the next Olympic, I would run for Africa. I would just run for Africa. But our mindset is not there, my brother. Our mindset is not there. I don't know, but I believe in us. Okay, I believe in us, and I know that Haiti's president, is no secret, was assassinated, and then even the media, was saying the U.S. was behind it and stuff like that. I mean, how bold, how I mean, to me, I'm not surprised. And and now they say, oh yeah, now we're gonna help them, and we are going to send some COVID, you know what I mean? Some stuff, there's some jobs down there for them to. They love to help the Haitian people. Well, first, why don't you take care of the black people here? Write a check, a reparation check for $50 trillion. Okay, why don't you do that? And then, why don't you give the gold reserve you stole in Haiti? It's probably trillions of dollars. Give it back to them, and then keep those keep those jobs for yourself, give it to your people. Okay, and let's just do that. But my thing is, though, man, I don't care about those labeling about the FBA, just ADO. I don't care. Yes, I want my black American people to get freaking if the government wants to give them reparations. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but I can tell you that.
Yeah. Let me see if Bakari want to respond, because I already know it's getting kind of late. I don't want to keep him on too long. But
right. Well, you know what though? Okay, go ahead. I mean, do you need to get off the phone then?
Brother Bakari, you want to respond to what he said?
No, I'm listening. I'm glad I heard. I'm glad he said he ain't concerned about that labeling. Neither am I. I don't even accept either one of those labels. I don't accept the label ADOS or FBA. I don't accept either one of those. I'm pro-Black Pan-African with a revolutionary mindset. I want to see my people succeed all over the world. And what we have to understand, if we saw ourselves as a collective, we could force the whole world to make sure all of us get what we deserve. But I
Right.
learned this from a good brother, an elder brother of mine. The most pan African people in the world is white people, Orientals, Arabs, East Indians, right? You know why he say they're more pan African? Because they see all of us the same. We are the ones who want to prove the white people that we are different.
Right. Amen, man. Amen, brother. Yes, I agree with you 100. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you can go ahead and finish up, Alej.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So listen, I agree with you, brother Bakari. And we, when we are driving, they don't know when they pull us over. They're like, oh, I am this. I'm from Haiti. Or da 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 da. No. I see myself, as black, as one. If something is happening, in California, I say if one of my brothers or sisters is hurting in Missouri, that's me. That's my people. That's our people. Listen, man. Thank you so much for this knowledge, guys. I appreciate you guys. Much love to all. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, my brother. Much love, bro.
No
One
problem.
love, my brother. One love.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, we about to wrap it up. So if anybody else want to call in, the number is 804-601-4015. But we ain't gonna be on too much longer, but you can speak your piece on it. Yeah, brother Bakari, you wanna you can say whatever you want to say and then come back, and then after that you can wrap up. But you ain't gotta wrap up this time, but
No, go
whatever.
ahead. I'm good. I just said what I wanted to say to him. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
listening.
Yeah, definitely. And well, this whole thing starts with, and I'm gonna keep saying it all the time, it starts with loving yourself, right? Loving your children enough for you to change your habits, right? It starts with the smallest things. We trying to jump over a mountain before we take the first step. We have to start taking it one step at a time. You have to change your mindset, change your habits, change your patterns, right? And it's okay for you to be mad. Accept that, because you're supposed to be mad when somebody violates you. It's not healthy. It's not a good mindset to have. And we should not have a goal of assimilating to a psychopathic society. And we definitely should not be doing it out of fear. And you cannot be joining up with all of these other groups because you're talking about you love everybody else, because you can't love nobody else if you don't love yourself, right? You're doing all of that out of fear. You're talking about changing your name out of fear. Bullies only respect one thing, right? A bully will take your lunch money every single day if you let them, right? But until one day you get mad enough to say, I'm tired of this, and punch that bully back in the face, right? You might have to fight him every day, but he gonna know that he has to do something to get your money, and eventually that's going to stop. But you got to start having more urgency than they do to get out of the situation that you're in, right? And we got to stop making this spooked out, right? And making every single excuse. We don't have to reach every single person. We don't have to save every single person. They understood it's easier to start with the children. Change comes generationally, right? If you look at what they've done generationally, things have changed, right? They put the feminist movement in a certain generation. What's going on, Time to Work? And by the next generation, there was a change, but you can implement whatever you want, but it starts with yourself. It starts with who you are and accepting that and loving that, and stop apologizing to somebody who, number one, doesn't even ask for your apology, right? We say we forgive Dylan Roof. He said he did it on purpose to start a war. We say we forgive, we hug people that shoot our brothers in their own apartment, right? That's a sign of sickness, of self-hate. And if we got to start going to therapy one by one, right, to get on code, to start protecting each other. When you see somebody getting violated in the store, right, the difference between you and the cops they can get on the radio and call 5 more people with guns that'll show up to protect them. And you know that. But if they know you could get on the radio and call 10 people with guns to protect you, that's a problem for them. That's why the ministers of defense and all of that stuff was a problem for them. They understand how the game goes. We got to understand how the game goes, right? They have thoroughly stripped you of who you are, right? They intentionally break the biggest down in front of you so that you're afraid. But the hatred, the everything that you will face should be enough motivation for you to start taking one step at a time, right? Where you see somebody in the street, you go up and stand up to them, right? You see a black woman getting violated, you go over there and make sure she's all right. Right now, one person can't do that, but a crowd of people, they know how to do that, right? That changes how they perceive you. That changes how they see you. They already see you as the biggest threat. Because even now, we talk about identity crisis. We aren't going to make it. We aren't going to be this. We aren't going to be that. And they have whole government programs to stop you right now, right? You feel like you're at your weakest state, and they feel like you're the biggest threat to America. You don't have no nuclear weapons, but you're still the biggest threat to America. And every single war, most of them, they had the bigger army. It didn't matter. They made learning about plants illegal because people was using the plants to poison them, getting back to learning nature. People were understanding how to use nature to their advantage. Because guess what? There is differences. They can't go to a beach on a nice day without putting some on their skin, or they probably die. Right? There's advantages that you have. But when you on this we are the world tip, when you on this apologetically blacks tip, when you on this we all human, we all friends tip, they gonna use your weaknesses against you, your emotions against you, your kindness, your empathy against you because they have none. But brother Bakari, I'll go ahead and let you close out, my brother.
Man, I thank you for having me on your channel, man. This was an excellent show. It was an excellent show. I think we make a good team. I thank everybody in the chat for listening, man. Look, I tried to put my channel in the chat, but it didn't come up. So if you all haven't heard of me, if you hadn't heard of me, you have now. My channel is Brother Bakari. Go check it out. Smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell because I'm going to have a few shows coming up this week, and I'm going to have one coming up with Brother Forecast this week on the one Neutral Ground. Right? Remember that I sent you? So, this is a good show, good topic. And to the Haitian brother that just got off here and he said he don't hate anybody. I'm not going to tell you to hate anybody, but this is what I say. Hate is an emotion just like love. It's the opposite, but it's an emotion. And with everything that black people have gone through, African blood people have gone through in this world, it's okay to hate. And don't let nobody tell you you can't, because we have to hate something. Because if we don't ever hate anything and we continue to love everything, that means we are loving what we are going through. We are loving our harsh reality. We are loving the fact that we are absolutely been oppressed, suppressed, depressed, compressed, any kind of pressure you can think of. You watch basketball, full court press, any kind of pressure you can think of, any kind of pressure you can think of. Black people have gone through any kind of pressure you can think of, black people have gone through it. The whole world have done it to us, and they continue to do it to us. And I'm not talking about your one non-black friend. That's not what I'm talking about. If you have a non-black friend, I'm not talking about your non-black friend. I'm talking about us as a group. And if you look at us as a group and look at them as a group, we know who our enemies gonna look out for as a group. I was trying to find this interview by Mr. Chong. I think it has been taken off YouTube. That was his name, a Vietnamese guy. and he was asked about why they come in black neighborhoods, open their businesses. He said this in an interview, and don't hire black people. He said it's not their job to hire black people, right? It's not our job to hire black people. We create businesses so we can hire Asian people. And he said someone called him racist for that. And he said, you know what he called racist? He called black people racist because if they were not racist against themselves. This is what he said in an interview, and I can't find it. They've taken it off YouTube. He said if they were not racist against themselves, they would create businesses and they would give themselves jobs. They wouldn't even allow us in there. I'm going to find it and play it if I can ever find it again. He said they would not even allow us in their neighborhoods to run a business if they were not racist against themselves. Now, if we make a statement like that, we're racist and we have to love everybody. I don't love everybody, and I ain't never been ashamed to tell people I don't love everybody. That's absolutely asinine for me to say I love everybody. It's impossible. No, I don't love the people that murdered George Floyd. No, I don't love that white boy that walked out of his house the other day, 30 years old, and grabbed the little 15-year-old black kid and beat him with a belt. No, I don't love them people that had the brother hanging from the tree in Douglasville, Georgia, back in February. No, I don't love them. No, I don't love the black people that's doing drive-bys in our neighborhood. The actor Anwan Glover, who was on The Wire several months ago, he was back in Southeast DC, where he from. He did a video doing begging black people to stop. It's begging those people that's doing the drive-bys to stop because they just drove by shooting up the neighborhood and shot a little 1-year-old baby in the head and in the body. Shot it in the head and in the body 10 times. A 1-year-old. A 1-year-old. So I don't love them either. I don't love nobody that is their job to come and hurt my people, hurt my women, my children, my elderly, hurt my brothers, my sisters. I do not love them. I'm Pan-African. I love my people. I'm race first. I love black people, even the black people that will say they are not African. You don't even have, because you know what? That's the banner I wave. If you want to wave a different flag, wave it. But as long as we understand that we on the same team, because they mess with me and you, regardless if you African or not, they mess with me and you because me and you look alike. So they gonna treat us the same. So guess what? We need to start treating each other with respect and love so we can get these people, all of our enemies, not the enemy, all of our enemies off our neck and out of our communities, and we take control of it. Brother Forecast, I thank you for inviting me. I thank the people for listening. I hope y'all enjoyed the show, and I hope I said something that resonate with you. And once again, my channel is Brother Bakari. Go check it out. Smash that subscribe button and that notification bell. Peace, one love.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate you coming on the channel. Let me put your channel in the chat real quick. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, definitely subscribe to my brother channel. He be speaking facts, and you know, first of all, I am not telling you, I'm not preaching hate, but yeah, my brother Bakari is absolutely right. I hate the situation that we're in, but most importantly, I'm trying to tell you self-love, because that is what's going to get you out of this situation. Now, George Washington got put on the side of a mountain for talking about the same things that we're talking about, right? But they revere their murderers, their killers, they revere all of that stuff, right? And it's time for us to start appreciating and revering the people who stood up for us, and not let them tell us who our idols are, because they will erase our idols from history. And any organization still around talking about therefore black people that's not being attacked, you have to look at suspect, because every organization that has been about black people first has been deemed a threat to America. At the end of the day, we are all we got. And until we are standing up for each other, until there is punishment for somebody violating us, because, like I said, America isn't going to let North Korea punish one of their citizens. So why are we letting somebody else or begging somebody else to punish our citizens? But I appreciate you coming on, my brother Bakari, and I'm gonna go back to working on the video. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Forecast Radio 24. Yeah, the live premiere will be tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish it tomorrow. But yeah, I appreciate all of y'all for listening. Everybody for calling in. Um, Again, yeah, we talk about supporting. At least check out my sister, Matilda. She said she got a brother doing some good things. So I want to check out the sister, and I think everybody should check out and at least see what's going on, because we got to
She got a
start.
channel. I don't mean to cut
Yeah.
you off. I apologize. She got a
Oh yeah.
channel.
She in the chat right now.
Put your
Matilda.
channel in the chat, Matilda. Put the
I don't know
name
if
of it in the chat so I can look it up.
I don't know if she's still here. She put her email earlier. I don't know if she's still listening or not, but I just wanted to shout out the sister, and I was hoping my other sister was gonna call in tonight, but hopefully she listening. But we got to start appreciating, and one solution that I always say is we talk about voting all the time. We can vote for successful Black people that we nominate, and we go out to the polls for everything else, so we can go do this and nominate the most successful Black business people to strictly fund and help grow Black businesses and put them in our community. We can do that right now, and we can all volunteer. But of course, make sure they stay transparent and do what they say they're going to do. But that's just one thing that we can do now. And my brother Bakari says a million things. We all know a million things. It's just changing our habits one day at a time. That's all we got to do. Stop making trying to jump over a mountain before you take the first step. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for listening and calling in, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we gonna keep falling for anything.
Peace out. One love.